Hi, I'm Jennifer Beckstrand, and this is Jennifer Beckstrand's 10-Minute Book Club. Hi, readers. Thank you for being here tonight. I am so excited because we get to hear from Sarah McConkie, who has written some lovely books set in England, some in the Regency era, some in a little bit later time period, and you are going to love hearing about her books. Please be sure to go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. You'll be able to download a free book. And I hope you were able to download the Amish Quilt Maker's Unlikely Match, which came out a week and a half ago, because you are going to love it. It's funny and oh, it's so romantic. One of my most romantic books. I hope you check it out. Now, I'm really excited to introduce Sarah McConkie. Sarah, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my goodness, so wonderful to meet you. I love it when I meet new authors that I haven't heard of before and love hearing about their books. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I have been writing for 7 or 8 years, and it's kind of been, I'm also a mom of five. And so I do both at the same time, which is really fun for me. I've always loved to write and always done a lot of creative writing ever since I was a little girl. But really seriously publishing in the last 7 or 8 years, and or getting to publishing. And I have 5 children. I majored in music, so kind of a little bit different. I taught junior high choir for a number of years, and now I
Oh,
teach
really?
music
Okay.
online. So I teach a piano course and a voice course for high schoolers, actually. So,
That
uh,
is very cool. My son-in-law is a choir director
oh,
at a high school in Mapleton.
okay.
Yeah.
That you have to, it's a certain breed. Like when people see me being my choir director self, they're like, who are you? Where did you come from? But you get really animated and it's really fun. So
That is so
yeah.
cool. Well, so my daughter majored in music, and that's why she married
Cool.
the choir director because he was also majoring in music.
Yeah.
And you
Awesome.
must be a singer then. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So I am a singer. I'm also a pianist. So I'm not a huge soloist, but I'm more of like a teaching voice to
Okay.
for like when I'm instructing a choir, right? So yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, we got off track. Sorry. And
Okay.
how old are your kids?
So my oldest is 9. So I have 9, 7, 5, 3, and almost 1.
Oh my
So we're
goodness.
just bam, bam, bam in there.
Do you have any time to write? That's incredible.
We're just really intense about our nap times and at nighttime. So I just try to sneak it in when I can. And naps
Oh, good for you.
after 8 p.m. So
So tell us about your books.
okay, so I have a couple out. I've done 2 novellas, and then I have 3 full-length novels, and my third one is actually coming out like this week. So that's really exciting. So that's what I'll talk about today, but it's right here. It's called Dual Devotions. See if I can get her in the screen there.
Oh,
She's
that's a beautiful
only
cover.
half of her face. Thank you. So that's my most recent release that is coming out yeah, this week, this February. So it's a Valentine's kind of, it's fun to release around Valentine's Day, right?
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What's it about?
Okay, so it is a kind of like um enemies to lovers. I think of it as like a Romeo and Juliet kind of trope. So basically, the families are pitted against each other. The one family, the dad and mom went to debtor's prison, and the son was best friends with one of the sons of the other family and had to leave and kind of make a way for himself. He was very wealthy, very well off, but they took everything away from him because they hadn't paid their debts. And so he goes and learns the mining trade. And because he's educated, he works his way through the mining trade for 9 years. Like the first chapter starts when he's like 13, and the main character is like 10 or 11, the main female character. And then you skip forward 9 years, and she's had this privileged life, but her family is kind of dysfunctional. And he's had this hard life where he's been trying to grow through the ranks. And now he's high enough that he wants to come and try to enter back into society. And in doing so, he finds her, and they were meant for each other before the whole family fell apart, but now they hate him. But she still kind of likes him, and he likes her. But the brother is the really big deterrent. He wants to keep them apart, and he's willing to stop at nothing. He's kind of a violent guy to
Hmm.
keep them apart. So that's like the main story, is how they get together despite the family rift.
Oh, it sounds fabulous. So is it set in England, like London?
Yes, so it's set in England. It's set in mostly in Northumberland. So that's the very, very north by Scotland. And it takes place in a castle called Otterburn Castle. And kind of fun fact is that it's a real castle and it is now a hotel. Somebody bought it
Oh,
and you
fun.
can stay there. And I've stayed there. So we went there a couple years ago, and for first it was up for sale and it was out of my price range because I'm not a castle buyer, right? But somebody bought it and turned it into a hotel. And I said, oh my gosh, we got to go there. So I got to go and sleep there and walk the grounds and imagine my whole story in this castle. So, and as you go through the book, there's like, when you divide the page, there's like a little etching, but that's the actual Otterburn Castle where it takes place. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's like an etching of the castle.
Yes, that's fabulous.
So that is where it takes place mostly, is up in Scottish. It's real broody. There's lots of forest scenes. So that's the vibe.
Wow, it sounds amazing. Have you, as a side note, have you seen North and South?
Yes, yeah, kind of that vibe where you have the working class versus the gentry, and how they manage that as England is changing, right? Like the historical
Mm.
context is like now you're starting to get factories and all these people, and it's just a really fascinating time, I think.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So are your other books kind of set in that time period too?
I have a couple regencies, and then I have some that are like 1830s, 1840s.
Okay.
So yeah, where you're starting to get into that. I have another book called The Promise of Miss Spencer, and that one talks about how they started having vaccination in England, and that's like 1830s, 1840s. So
Wow.
yeah,
Fabulous. Well, I'm really impressed, and readers, you need to go check it out.
yes, please do.
So, okay, so this year I'm trying something new where I want you to share a quote or an inspirational thought that
Yeah.
maybe has helped you, or something you want people to remember about you, or whatever. What
Sure.
have you got something you can share with
Yeah.
us?
So actually it's in the beginning of my book. So I'm going to read it, and it kind of frames the book. This book talks a lot about forgiveness
Oh,
and learning how to control our anger. And I'm kind of a feisty personality, and sometimes that is great because I get a lot done, but sometimes I tend to butt heads with people. And so I'm just, spilling all of my life here with you. But it's been really fascinating to think about that concept of forgiveness. And the quote that I have that goes with it is, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it.
ooh.
So I'll say that one more time. Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. And I think sometimes when someone wrongs us, we just want to throw a punch, when we want to respond. And it's my goal to get better at not responding in anger and having, a moment to reflect, or giving the person the benefit of the doubt, and taking a moment to respond respectfully and cordially. So that's kind of my um, that's one of the purposes of this book. They really have to learn how to forgive each other. And that's hard sometimes, because especially when it's a family member, like it is in the book, or someone close to you, a good friend, then forgiveness is easier said than actually done. Right. So
Oh, so true. I'm kind of like you. I'll be going along my day, and then I'll remember something that I did. One time I just kind of bawled out this he was kind of a publisher anyway,
yeah,
an editor. And Oh, I just cringe when I think about that, but it's so true that sometimes lashing out is worse for
Yep.
you
Yes.
because you feel terrible about it.
Feel terrible, you feel bad afterwards. Sometimes it escalates the situation, right?
Yeah,
So whatever was happening that was already tense and had contention is not getting diffused, when you could have had an opportunity to diffuse it.
yeah,
So, yeah.
love that. My worst is in pickleball. I'm really trying to keep my temper.
Sometimes you sit it in that kitchen, and
Yes.
you just want to get them.
It's so bad.
Yeah, love that. Love
Well,
pickle.
this has been so great. Here's the last question. You're stuck on a desert island. What three things would you want to have with you?
Well, at least, a couple good books, some inspirational books, maybe some religious books, maybe a pizza, I think, because I like pizza and you wouldn't be able to get that on the desert island. And then, maybe one of those knives that has like 16 different contraptions on it so that I can figure out a way to get off, maybe.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah,
That's a really good one. Although I wouldn't know. I guess you'd learn how to use all those
yeah,
tools,
I'd
but
have to, I'd have to work on it. My dad always carried one of those. So
maybe
yeah, that was resourceful for sure.
that's very cool. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for being here. Readers, go check out Dual Devotions, and I think you're going to love it. And such a
Thank
great
you.
read for, Valentine's month.